The voice of the Blue Eagle, Radyo Katipunan, 87.9.
Radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan. The voice of the Blue Eagle, kami di mapipigil sa pagbabalitang tumpak at tama. Buhay Atenista, sa loob sa labas ng eskwela, ating ibibida lahat ng eskwela. Radyo, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, Katipunan. Kawal ni Ignacio, Katipunero sugo, todo sa kayod, punong at tulong. Lipat the Blue Eagle, galing giting at tigil, blue and white, one big fight. Radyo, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan.
And there was another drive-by shooting.
The fire we reported at the old fire hall is still burning out.
Do you sometimes feel confused or lost in the complications and complexities of life? Do you feel drained, listless, or exhausted from the daily burdens and responsibilities? Why not seek our campus ministers on air every Tuesday from 2 to 3 in the afternoon? Listen to our counselors from the Loyola School's Campus Ministry Office as they ground our lives in our faith, in our school's spiritual tradition. Campus Ministers on Air. Be guided, be inspired, be blessed. Listen to our Campus Ministers on Air.
A grace-filled Tuesday afternoon, dear friends. This is Campus Ministers on Air, the radio program of the Loyola School's Office of Campus Ministry, where we try to find God in anything and everything under the sun. Ako po si Rufel Brion, your Campus Minister host today. Let us begin with this prayer.
You have searched me, Lord, and you know me. You know when I sit and when I rise. You perceive my thoughts from afar. You discern my going out and my lying down. You are familiar with all my ways. Before a word is on my tongue, you, Lord, know it completely. You hem me in behind and before, and you lay your hand upon me.
Our guests today are from the Lipa Academy for Math and Science, a private K-12 school in Lipa City, Batangas. Ling Mercado is its principal. She also teaches history, economics, and media information literacy. Janine Rivera teaches secondary English and art history. Vicky Magpantay teaches primary English and music. And with us too is her daughter Vienne, who is in grade 5. Incidentally, the teachers are all graduates of the Ateneo de Manila University, like 5 others in the LAMS faculty, including myself. Kumusta kayo ngayon? Ano lang, kahit one word, one phrase, kumusta kayo ngayon?
Coping.
Wants to begin? May begin.
Coping.
I'm good.
Thank you, Bien. What about your mother? How is your mother?
Po bang mag-ulit ng sagot
Pwede naman.
naman? So, mamimili lang ako sa dalawa, either good or cooking.
Oh, pwede naman both.
Busy. She's busy. Fresh. I feel fresh. This is a fresh day for me. There.
Thank you. Janine, who was my student, by the way, when she was in college. Kumusta ka?
Happy. Had a good night's sleep.
Good. Thank you. Okay, let's get right on to it. LAMS has been online since the beginning of the pandemic, actually, even last school year. So I just want to know, what was your part in preparing for the online learning program? Maybe we can begin with the principal.
What was my part? Well, a lot of things. We had to figure out how we were going to deliver the rest of the school year, last school year. Because we start our school year around the same time as Ateneo. So we still had like 2 quarters left. And then it was like we were caught flat-footed. So not everybody had access to good internet. And then we hadn't really tried Google Meet as much as because we were so used to face-to-face teaching. It was just something, we just took for granted. And so when we shifted online, we did it asynchronously. So going into this school year, the experience of the past 2 quarters really helped us a lot, because the teachers had the collective experience of what worked during the previous school year, and then and some idea of exactly how much work we could assign the students online.
Janine, what was your role in the preparation for this school year?
So basically my role was finding and narrowing down which technologies can be used by the students and the teachers, and to also provide technological training for the teachers and the students to help them keep up with the new platform.
Thank you, Janine. What about you, Teacher Figgy?
For me, I was part of the planning team. Based on what we had during last school year's online learning program, we had to fix some parts, improve a lot of things. We had to make sure that everyone, all students and teachers they have stable internet connection. We had to make sure that they have the gadgets that they need to be able to conduct this online learning. And then I had to fix the schedule so that we'll be able to have real-time sessions this year. And then at the same time, we could provide enough time for the kids to do work on their own. There.
Thanks, Viggy. And now we will ask our most special guest this morning a few questions. Vien, how do you like learning online?
I like it
You like
because it's fun, and it's because I get to see my friends and my teachers again.
It's good. Well, is there anything you don't like about it, Vien?
Well, sometimes there are signal or internet issues. Like sometimes I get kicked out, and sometimes when I'm doing my tasks, we lose internet, so I don't get to.
Thank you very much, Vien. So we will go to the less young people now.
Oh, okay.
Take note, I did not say older, okay? I said less young.
But you just said it.
So, okay, let's begin with the principal. As a teacher, not as a principal, but as a teacher, what have been the benefits of online learning for you, Ling?
The benefits of online learning. Um, Gee, it's it's really kind of difficult. It's kind of tricky to answer that part.
All right.
Because it's so difficult to hold a class where you can't see people's faces. You can't you have to be careful about what you say and how you say it, because it's not like in face-to-face classes. They can see if you're making a joke or not. So there are nuances of words and expressions that can be misconstrued because it's online. And then you think you're talking to your whole class, you think they're listening, and then one by one, the camera suddenly turn off because the internet gets weak, and it feels so frustrating. Why? I need human interaction. One benefit is, if I do the same thing and just shut off my camera, I could be conducting class in my pajamas. Um, that's kind of a dubious benefit, but um, I don't know if it's a benefit going online, because now you're reachable at any time. I don't think it's a benefit actually, because it's like there are no more barriers between work and home. And then if an issue arises in the middle of the night or late at night, you have to deal with it there and then. Um, that can get straining, and I'm sure it's the same for the teachers and the students as well.
Yes, of course, because we have to understand that Ling is not just the teacher, she is the principal. And so she cannot just use one hat at one time and another hat at the other. She's both. So it's really very challenging. So let's take the cue from Ling. So maybe we should ask about challenges first and then go back to benefits later. So, Viggy, for you, what have been the challenges as a teacher? And how have you faced them?
Challenges. Number one, I realized this online learning experience made me realize that I'm not that techy. I thought I was, but then I realized I still have a lot to learn. And it's hard because you're forced to learn so many things at a shorter span of time, and you have other things to finish. You have deadlines, and then you have to figure out what's the best way that I can do so that my kids, my students, will be able to learn it and to learn lessons, and at the same time still have fun uh, studying. So that's one challenge. Second, um, yeah, the working at home. The idea of working at home is a challenge as it is, because when you go home, that's where you rest. You spend time with your family. You do things that you love, or like watch Netflix, or play with my daughter. But now, I had to figure out where I can work and at the same time not disturb the oldies in the household, or find a place for me and a different place for her, so we can both do our tasks. Yeah, that's another challenge for me. And then third, um, I'm a very social person, and this affected me socially because you cannot meet with friends. Yeah, you can meet online, but it's still different. You cannot just. I miss the feeling of being physically with other people, especially with friends, with my colleagues, you know. There. Tama na, tatlo na lang.
Bien, do you help your mother? Bien? Are you a techie? Do you help your mother at all in her teaching?
She learns faster, definitely. And then whenever I need to learn something, she would learn it first. She would be interested. For example, learning how to use Screencastify. I know I have to learn it, but she was the one who figured it out. And then I would ask her, Bien, paano nga ba to? And then she would willingly, teach me now, Mom, it's just like this. Okay.
So, Bien, are you patient with your mom? Matyaga ka ba?
I don't know, but like, sometimes yes. I don't know. You should ask her.
All right. Sige, I see a mother and daughter team. So, Janine, I think of all of us here, you are the most techie, as far as I know. So, Janine, what challenges have you faced so far?
Well, the main challenge for me is finding the space where to work because actually I have no space of my own because my bedroom cannot be used at the moment. It's a storage area, so I actually sleep down here with the aircon. The aircon's here, so it's fine. So it's hard for me to sleep here. Yeah, but it's hard to find a work area because of the noise level. So it's hard, and it's hard to control um, the oldies in the house, and also sometimes it cannot be helped. My fur baby gets noisy too, especially when he hears the discussion and it's noisy and he hears children. He does bark because he's interested in them. And then the second challenge for me, I think, is managing the time because I have to run errands and chores because technically I'm the one who's allowed to go outside. I'm the safest bet to go outside and accomplish the errands and chores.
So, Janine, have your students told you about their challenges, their difficulties in online learning?
I mostly know the challenges of my advicees, but
Yeah,
it's
what do they say?
fairly
What
the
usually
most
is?
common one that pops out. Miss, my internet is lagging. Miss, my internet is slow. Miss, I cannot turn on my camera. It's slow. Yeah. So that's the most common one actually that appears
So
all the time.
how do you deal with that, Janine? If the internet of your students are faulty, how do you deal with that?
Mm. So usually I tell them that okay, if they cannot turn on the camera, that's fine as long as they can turn on their mic at least and I could hear their voice so that at least they could participate in the discussion. If not, I do allow them to participate online if that's the only choice as long as they can make contact and participate in the class. That's the best that I can do. It's not like we can provide them signals even if we want to. And since we all have different providers,
Yeah.
it does fluctuate. So, for example, when we're having a class, this one, her camera turns off, and then it will be back on after 5 minutes. Then this one, camera box on, turns off, and then so it switches. So, I have to be prepared if it switches off, and then I have to remind them, okay, but if it's stable again, can you turn on your camera? But if not, as long as you are able to speak up or to chat, then that's fine.
How do you deal with the challenges that your students are facing?
Well, we do what we can. So, for example, we have a number of scholars. We try to ensure that first we try to determine whether they all have internet, what kind of devices they're using, and the ones who had no laptops or were just using cell phones or tablets, we found a way to provide them with laptops. So some of them were laptops that were used by people from my husband's office. Um, and then the ones who they were not enough, so we had to buy laptops, and then we just created some kind of agreement that they will just return it later on. But as Janine said, those who live in areas where the internet connectivity is faulty, there's nothing we can do talaga. Even if we give them a prepaid Wi-Fi device, if the signal there is poor, there's not much we can do.
Yeah, it's difficult. Yes, Ling, you wanted to say something else?
One of the things you asked Janine earlier about the difficulties that her students experience, aside from the difficulty with connecting on the internet, I know of some students who have difficulty dealing with the situation, who find it difficult to continue working on their tasks because they don't see the point. It seems like there's no end in sight. So, what for? So, to a certain extent, so far from all we've said, the online situation seems to be not so positive. There haven't seemed to be any real benefits so far. But maybe one benefit is it can lead to a deeper connection with some students who might not have been comfortable. Since I'm not just their teacher, I'm not just their homeroom advisor, I'm also the principal. I don't know why people seem to be scared or intimidated of me because I'm the principal. I'm thinking, why? What am I going to do to you? We don't really expel people. We don't do capital punishment. So what? So because of it's just the student and I, if it's a consultation, or sometimes I have homeroom where it's just one-on-one, it becomes more intimate in the sense that they can become more comfortable in getting real. So that's one advantage.
And Ling, the school does have a guidance counselor, doesn't it?
Yes, we do. You know her.
And yeah, and I know that in the beginning, the school actually spent a couple of weeks so that she could talk to the students, even individually, right? Did that help?
I think it did help because it helped the students know that they had somebody else to run to, who wouldn't be making a report to their parents. Not about that everything the student tells us, we tell their parents. If it's something we use our judgment, it depends on if this is going to endanger the student, then yes, we have to tell the parents. But if this is something that's like a normal teenage phase that we can deal with, since we are a small community, we share students. So they may be Teacher Viggy's students in English, they may be Teacher Viggy's students in music, Teacher Janine's students in English, and then my students in history or economics. So we all have a common vested interest in our students. And then we can like talk about how's this person doing? Is this person performing like this in my class because of my class, because of the way I teach, because it's boring or what? Or is there something else? So we make a concerted effort to be able to support the student as best as we can. So
Yes,
having a guidance counselor also helps.
You know, I must say that I only have 5 students and they're in grade 11. And I think I have been very fortunate because what has been happening to me is I think I've built a personal relationship with each one, even if I only see them in the classroom. In fact, I think my students now participate more than my real life students before. I don't know, because it's more focused the way I see it. Like, I really am not very comfortable about calling on my students, but in Google time, it has helped me. I mean, I have been able to talk to them individually more than, so for me that is a benefit. What about you, Vicky? What benefits do you see in this online learning program?
You have to figure, again, just like what I said a while ago, you have to figure out things in such a way that you get to deliver your lessons really well, and then you maximize the resources you have, the applications you learn. Um, Another benefit, it makes people think faster. What will you do if somebody gets kicked out in class? What what's the first thing you do if someone's not present in class? Um, what if what what if a student hasn't submitted work for a number of days? Um, I, Everything's so fast paced. It's making people work faster and think faster. I see it as a benefit because you get to maximize the time you have. Maybe another benefit, you get to stay at home and work at home at the same time. It's something that I personally struggle before when, because sometimes like you spend like how many hours in school, and then when you get home, you rest for a bit, spend time with your family a bit, and then you find time to work again by choice. But by choice. But now, um, it again encourages people to spend more time with their loved ones, with their families. You make it a point na, yeah, maybe I should have breakfast with my parents today, or it's lunch break. I know I have a lot of things to do, but I make my lunch breaks sacred, so I can, so I can still have like an hour with my family, or like after work. It's a benefit that for me, it's a benefit na I get to teach her more now. I get to guide her more now. Um, there.
Salamat, Vicky. O, tanungin naman natin si Teacher Techie. Janine, anong benefits para sa'yo ng online learning?
I guess the first benefit for me is, syempre, mas techy na ako ngayon. So, nadagdagan pa than before. So, para sa akin, napaka-helpful nun. And it encourages me to be more creative in creating lessons, to try to be more engaging and to find ways on how to make those lessons more fun. So, it's pushing me to grow a lot and to improve on what I can deliver. And then, of course, another benefit for me would be, yes, I do get to spend more time sa bahay. So, mas nakakapaglaro na kami ni Asami. Kahit nagtatrabaho ako, naglalaro siya. Nilalaro niya pa ako. So, it's more time with him. Then, yun, mas nakakausap ko ngayon ng parents ko. Mas dami kaming nagagawa, mas dami naayos, mas madami na pag-uusapan ng problema. Tapos kung paano ayusin. Yan. Kasi before, pag busy, parang, wait lang, may work. Pero ngayon po, at least, tapos nakakain na ako kasama sila. Before po, it's usually just dinner because nasa school po the whole day. So breakfast and lunch is spent with my colleagues. So dinner po with the family. Pero ngayon, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And merienda, kasama ko na po sila. So, yeah. So, ang greatest benefit niya, I think, is it encourages people to manage their time well. Tapos para yung makapagsingit ka ng mahalagang me time, personal time, throughout the work.
O nga kasi I've been talking to many teachers, hindi lang grade school. Ling, did you want to say something?
Can I just add a little bit to what Janine said? One advantage also is, well, primarily also because we had an intensive teacher training workshop during the summer about preparing not modules but study guides for the shift online. It Teaching online has helped me be more intentional, even more intentional about putting a lesson together. Because when you send out the study guide, we're always prepared for contingencies that we might not be able to meet the students because of power or internet disruptions. So the study guides should stand on their own. So you have to be really, you have to really think about what it is you're going to put in, how you're going to craft it in such a way that they will understand what you're saying. And then meeting them in class, for me, it's like a bonus because they already have this. I try to make sure that they can learn from the study guide, but having the class time with them, then I can jump off to other points related or to deepen their understanding. So that is a benefit because it's delivered online. And also, what Teacher Viggy said, the sometimes when you're at home, you're not sure about when you have a meeting and then you're not sure about what's behind you. My two sons, which is also a benefit for my husband and I, that we get to spend more time with our sons because of this. But they are very they want human interaction also. So when they know that I'm in a meeting, they will just come in and say hi to the people I'm talking to, whether they're ready to be seen by the public or not. So I'm thankful that the people I'm talking to are understanding. So we haven't created any major bombing incidents. But it's also funny.
Yes, and maybe now let's focus on ourselves, on yourselves. Um, so many people say that it's family that really helps them cope with what's happening right now. You get to spend more time with your family. But personally, for instance, right now, maybe we can begin with Liz. What really sustains you during these times? How do you nourish your spirit?
Can I go from shallow to deep?
Of course, you may go from wherever to wherever.
Part of my preparation for my class in media and info literacy, I fell down the rabbit hole of K-pop. And then I started reading articles because I wanted to connect how these media personalities have soft power. So I'm not sure if I am really a fan, but sometimes when there are days when my head is just so full from school or thinking about what's going on outside my house with the rest of the world, it kind of suits me to watch YouTube videos of these things because it's like, it's not high stakes. I don't have an emotional investment in this. And then before I know it, oh my God, it's midnight. So that's the shallow part, or watching movies or reading books. Moving on to the more meaningful part, attending the daily mass, it has helped a lot. And then I stopped doing yoga for some time, so I went back to it. So trying to find this space of stillness, and then trying to accept that there are only so many things that you can affect, that you can control. Yes, the bigger world outside will definitely affect and influence how my life unfolds, but I can only do so much. So that is something I'm hindi naman struggling, hindi naman grappling, but trying to find um, greater acceptance of, um, and then trying to figure out if this is what I can do, then how can I do it well? So there.
What about Janine? How do you sustain yourself? Well, I know there is Asami, and then there's your family. What about you? How do you sustain your spirit? How do you nourish your spirit during these times?
Well, I usually try to enjoy myself, so I usually watch anime or read manga. Yeah. So my mom will find me laughing my head off alone. And she's like, "What you doing?" But and I'm reading. So that's in a way it helps me be happy and to find space for myself, even if it's just in my head. Yeah. And then of course my main sustenance aside from my family and my for me is my art and my writing. So I always try to make sure that I still have time to draw or to write something, even if it's just a doodle or just an idea for a story. I do that because I don't want to lose that side of me that still creates. So if the things outside the world is outside my control, at least I still have control over this. I can still create what I want to create.
Thank you, Janine. What about the mother and daughter? Vicky, how do you nourish your spirit during these days? And how do you help Vien nourish her spirit, if you'd like to say so?
Rian can't wait anymore, so she'll go first now. First.
Okay, Vien, please, Vien.
So, like, when I I feel like that I don't want to do my task, but I have to because I want to. I usually ask my friends to call me. So even though we are talking to each other, I can still do my task, so I don't waste my time. And sometimes also I take breaks, but usually the breaks that I only take is when I eat. Oh, also, I usually have gymnastics class every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. It makes me relaxed when I have a lot of things in my mind, or when I think that I have a lot of problems. It makes me feel calm.
Thank you, Vien. Vien said that she would sing, right? So, Vicky, how often do you sing these days?
Oh, wow. I personally haven't. Because honestly, I think I am not yet ready to physically and emotionally go back. So, one thing I realized, and it really helped me during this time, is even if I don't get to sing, I have more time now to listen to music. Um, I would I would listen to music while working. Na something I realized na hindi ko nagagawa before. Hindi ko na nagagawa. I like listening to music pero parang kailangan kong pilitin yung sarili ko to or isingit sa oras ko. But now I get something different now from listening to a variety from Broadway music, religious, classical. I haven't tried K-pop though, Miss Ling. Not yet. I'm not yet there. Give me time.
I actually
Not
listen
yet.
to
Siya? Ako, hindi pa po. What else? How do I nourish my spirit? I have started reading again. Something na hindi ko din nagagawa before. Anything, the books that I have here at home that I haven't read at all, na nabuksan ko na rin siya.
Vicky, you said that you would sing weekly at Mass. And so now that you cannot really go to church, how do you nourish your faith, Vicky? Because Ling says she goes to online masses. What about you, Vicky? How do you nourish your faith during these days?
I now go to online masses too, now with my family. Before, since I was busy serving in church, I don't get to hear mass with them. But now, we get to go to mass. I mean, to attend mass together online, and that's a good thing for me and for her. And then we started holding online rehearsal, choir rehearsal. So Saturday night we start our rehearsal and end our rehearsal with prayers, and it helps a lot. It helps a lot to sing again, although virtually. And then we have like a short prayer meeting before ending the night. Um, Another thing, I was lucky to find an online retreat. It's offered by Senaco, and I really decided to grab this chance because it's been a long time since I had my last retreat, and it's perfect timing. Um, so I started with my first session this morning. I mean like a few hours ago, and I look forward to the rest of the journey in this online retreat. There.
May I ask something?
Yes, Vian.
What is an online retreat?
Okay. Tell us, Vicky, what an online retreat is.
It's a retreat that you do online.
What? So you're like,
So this time, instead of going to a retreat house, it's a place for prayer. They would be sending me videos and prayers and guide questions, and then I would watch it and I'll pray the prayers and then answer the questions so it can help me pray more.
oh,
And then I'll have a series of sessions so I can
So you talk
complete
you
the
you you
entire retreat.
you talk to a Senecal sister, don't you? Several
Yes.
times during the
I'll
retreat.
be having two sessions po with Sister Cecil. I haven't
All
met
right.
her, so there.
During this whole pandemic, as teachers, but not just as teachers, what's one significant thing that you have learned about yourself? What do you think is the one most significant thing that you've learned about yourself? You can take as much time as you want, of course. Yes,
um,
Vian, please.
before, like, when we had, real, we, I usually ask my mom what, like, I ask my mom a lot of homework, but now, I already know what it means, and I already get to do it
In study online.
yeah, and I can also study on my own.
Thank you, Vian. Oh, would the mom like to go next?
One significant thing that I learned about myself that I am a very patient person. I have proven more my patience in this time. Um, Patience at home because I spent more time with my 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 parents who are both senior citizens. So, dealing with, I'm sorry, sir, I have nothing against senior citizens, but, being with your parents 24/7, that's a challenge.
No, it's not. It's actually fun.
Thank you for saying that. But when you deal with more complicated things or discuss about life and things that you need to decide on as a family, it's quite a challenge to you know you have to figure out the the best way you can communicate with them. So I'm dealing with that. At the same time, I have my daughter who's a minor. So I have like extreme. So it's not like a test of patience. It's more like I'm I'm growing to be more patient. Uh, so I can be able to fulfill my role as a daughter, as a mother, as a member of our family. And then the same thing with work. It's I have to be patient with myself first. Sometimes I want to do so many things, but probably because of I need to accept the fact that I don't know everything. I don't know everything yet. And that's another thing that I learned and realized that I still have more to grow on being open to what's there for me, what's there to learn, um, how I can do more and be a better person for my family, for my friends, for my work, for the school, for church.
Thank you, Vicky. Janine, what about you? What have you learned about yourself? One
I learned
significant thing.
I learned that I'm more affectionate than I thought. I always thought of myself as someone, emotionally distant. I don't get close to people that much, part of being introverted. But now I realize I'm more affectionate than I thought. Malambing pala ako. Hindi ko po akalain. So, malambing ko pala.
But
Then after,
actually, Janine, I've always seen you as malambing. Well, I'm
really,
glad you realize it now.
I never saw myself that way. Yeah. And then as a teacher, I realized that I still have a lot of room to grow. Yeah, I thought that okay, I've gotten a lot of experience. I'm ready. Then I realized, okay, I'm not ready yet. I need to prepare some more so that I can achieve what I want and I can help the students learn what they need to learn and make and learning fun for them too. So I realized that I really have to have more time to grow. And the third thing I realized is I should give more time to myself because I do have the tendency to focus on other things, and when I'm on focused on other things, I don't see anything else. So now I learned that I need to take a break.
That's good, Janine. Thanks. Now, Ling, our principal. What have you learned about yourself during these times?
Uh, I think, like teacher Janine, I also, it was brought home to me by my sons, my husband, the people who live with me in the house, that I need to take a break. Um, so that's one thing I realized, that I tend to, I can't leave something unfinished. If there's something, there's a problem, or there's a need or whatever, it's physically, I feel physically at unease, and a physical unease, that I cannot solve it right away. So that's one thing I realized about myself, is that um, I need to step back. I'm like, I have to fix it. I have to find a way. Okay, maybe we can do this or that. I'll call this person and they can do this or that. And then if there's no solution, it just drives me nuts. But I need to, if I keep going down that path, yeah, it's not gonna be fun. And then I think paired with that, My default setting is not to be optimistic. My default setting is to always see the worst case scenario. So there are nights when I literally cannot sleep because I made a mistake of reading something online, and then it's this prediction about, or it's this analysis given the current situation. This is what's going to happen, whether it's pertaining to the climate, pertaining to the political situation, pertaining to the economy, one of the world, for the whole world. And then I just can't sleep. So I'm the exact opposite of my husband because he's really Mr. Glass half full. I give him whatever problem I have, and then he has a way of just changing or showing me a different angle from it. Sometimes I get annoyed at him because I'm thinking, are you real? Are you thinking straight? We've been married 23 years this year, and I think that's one of the things that really drew me to him, because in that aspect, he's so unlike me. I will always see the worst possible ending, and he will always see the best possible one. But he's not, rainbows and unicorns. It's just that he can find a way to make you see that it's not the end of the world, that this is not the only possible result to the disaster you're thinking in your head. So maybe that's why we work well together. Which brings me to my last na to. I have learned to appreciate my husband and my sons even more. Because of the situation where we can't go out, we have to deal with each other every day. And it didn't drive us nuts. In fact, there are times like when Omar has to go to the office, and then my sons see him going downstairs, all dressed up, and they're saying, "Where do you think you're going?" Kailangan pa namin magpaalam kung kailangan namin lumabas ng bahay. So tatanungin kami, why? Is it essential?
It's beautiful, di ba, Ling? Appreciating your most immediate family around you. So since Vicky is on a retreat right now, I have a retreat question, and this will be the last question, and I will give you a lot of time to think about your answer if you wish, but probably Vien will have an immediate answer. So this is a couple of questions. You may want to deal with one or the other or both. This is a question we usually ask on retreats. Let's look back on the last few days, just within the week. Where did you find God? How did you find God? Concretely in the last few days. That's one question. You might want to answer that question. But the other question is, what was the more loving thing that you did these past few days? When you had choices to do things, what was the more loving thing that you did? So you may answer both questions, or you may choose to answer only one. So let's give ourselves time. And I think what we can do now is, I was thinking, let's do this by age from the youngest to the oldest. Hindi youngest to the oldest. Let's just do it this way. Let's begin with the one who has been in LAMS the least number of years, up to the one who has been in LAMS for the most number of years. And so, of course, that will be our principal, diba? So she gets to say the last piece. So whenever Vien is ready, you might want to answer one or both questions.
The first question, where I found God, I actually read something in my Filipino book about something in the Bible, like Noah's Ark. So, I actually, when I read it, I learned that I always have to believe in God, and dapat meron po akong takot sa Diyos. So, from all the mistakes that I had done, I was very sorry to God because I know that I had to be a better child. So my mom was beside me, and so that my Lala and Lala will be as well. So the second one, the most loving thing that I did. So I know this is kind of like I'm shy to say this, but my mom actually was sad, and then like I was like, why are you sad? And she's not telling me because like I don't know, but she's not telling me. So I just made her like a drawing, and it said, "Don't worry, be happy." So she will be happy.
Thank you, Vin. Thank you very much.
And now
So
she's laughing. That's great.
I can see. So who's the next one? So it will be the least is Janine, no? You're the next.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, I think one for the first question, it was during I was checking the essays of the grade 9, and our topic was the Exodus for literature. And then I remembered one of the lines that my students wrote. That's what they learned from those texts was that God never lost faith in the people, even though the people have lost faith in Him, and that if only the people learned to keep that faith, they wouldn't have had to travel 40 years in the desert. And then it reminded me, oh, yeah, God never leaves us. So I was actually hit by that line in the essay, and it reminded me because we do pray every day, but somehow that really left a mark on me at that time. For the second question, the more loving thing. I think that, during this week there was a time when I had something to accomplish, so a lesson to finish, but I chose to not focus on finishing it yet, and instead chose to do something for my family to make them feel better because at that time they were stressed. So I wanted to help out. So I was the one who cooked dinner. I was the one who prepared the meals, and then I was the one who was doing the house chores so that they can relax. So I think that's an example of a time where I chose to do the more loving thing.
Thank you, Janine. Mommy, Mommy Vicky.
It's hard. It's honestly it's hard to find God these days. No, parang you really need to make an effort to find Him. There are times when you would question if you would question His presence. Um, but then I realized that first, God is here at home. God is here with me at home. Um, Even if we my family and we don't spend, I mean, we are physically together, but um, just simple things that they do for me or they do for each member of the family. I see God in them. Um, there are good times, there are bad times, and they help me see where God is. They remind me that God is here. Um, the people I work with help me see. Sometimes it's hard, but it still opens my eyes na, yeah, the goodness in this person is it's like telling me that, yeah, I see God in me. The way you deal with the difficulties of this whole experience, it's like God is being with this person. or the things I would hear from a friend or a colleague that would help me realize so many other things. It's like God is speaking to me. Little things that my daughter would do for me, or to lighten up things. A crazy way of funny ways, crazy ways. No. So I get to be more grateful na I'm surrounded. God is here. God is here. The second question, what's the most loving thing? Um, being there for people who need me, even if we're far away. Um, the other night I was able to call one of my best friends in college, and it's been like 2 months since we had our last chikahan. But then um, it made a lot of difference to make her feel that kahit hindi kami nag-uusap, I'm there. I'm just here for you. And same way na siya para sa akin. Not just with friends, for the people I work with, just being there. Maramdaman ng mga nakakasalamuha ko lately or nakakausap ko lately na nandito ako. Nandito ako para makinig, para tumulong, para maging kaibigan.
Salamat, Viggy. O ngayon naman, we will hear from our boss, no, from our friend. Ling?
The first one, where did I find God this week? On, I think it was Monday night or Tuesday, we had an emergency because my youngest son, his tooth cracked. So, okay pa siya at dinner, and then he just suddenly lay down on the couch and he was whimpering. So it turned out his tooth cracked. I called the dentist, and then he said, no, that was lunchtime on Tuesday. He said, okay, come over right away. Doon pa lang sa sagot ng dentist, because he has limited the number of patients he will see every day. But the fact that it was an emergency and he agreed to let us go there. And then when I was paying, he said, matagal pa tayong magkikita, hindi mo kailangan bayaran ngayon. And then when we got home, he asked, how is he, etc. While we were there, he already told me what would need to be done. And he had thought out all the options. And then he was very considerate of my son, because he was saying, we have to avoid surgery, because that would mean we need to take him to the ER or the OR. He will need general anesthesia, etc., etc. So, and he said, given the pandemic, it's not a good option for anybody. That for me was like the presence of God, because it could be just a transaction for him, but he didn't see it that way. And then the next 2 days, when he had classes, I think his teachers noticed that there was something troubling him. So in the middle of class, I think JV talked to him about it. And then the following day in Alexa's class, because the extraction was scheduled for Thursday, and between Tuesday to Thursday, he had already viewed all sorts of videos on YouTube about the extraction of teeth, involving all sorts of surgical procedures and surgical implements. Even if I already explained how it was going to be like, I guess he must have gotten that from me, the worst case scenario thinking. And then I think in the middle of class with Alexa, he must have looked really perturbed, because she she discussed it with him in the middle of class. And you know, I'm thankful to these teachers, because the time to speak with your class is limited, and then for them to take time out to address him and to allay his fears, that really helped. Because whatever it was that Alexa told him when we were going to the dentist, he was already so chill. And part of me was thinking, I love you, Alexa, thank you. But oh my God, kagabi pa kita kinakausap tungkol dito. Sa ibang tao ka maniniwala, hindi sa akin. But there, even as Teacher Viggy said, sometimes in this pandemic, it's difficult to see where God is. He is there for us, in the people who are around us. And I take that as like a sign that he has not abandoned us, as Teacher Janine also said. Taking the more loving option, I have a friend who's undergoing a difficult situation, and I was needed to babysit for her online. And at the time, I had a lot of other things to do, but I realized that she had to deal with something really difficult. And she could not just ask it of just anyone. So I just let go of my checklist of things accomplished for that day. And I was thinking, I just need to be here. And then I was trying to go through my brain, okay, what stuff can I remember that's funny that I can share so I can alleviate the situation. And besides, it only lasted for like 30 minutes. So, but I am glad that I was able to tamp down any feeling of antsiness because of the work that I left undone, and come to the realization that this is more important and this is going to be really helpful.
I will answer my own questions. And I think you can predict what I will say. I mean, I don't mean to sound cheesy, but this comes really from my heart. For me, of course, I saw God in what we have been doing this morning. I know that God has been with us in our conversation and also I know that a lot of people will benefit from this conversation. And for me, the more loving thing is not what I did, but what was done to me. The more loving thing was done to me by you. You got away from the things that you have been doing, but you did the more loving thing, and I appreciate you for that. And so thank you very much. Let us thank the Lord for being with us this morning. And of course, we all look forward to seeing one another face to face. But meantime, we will just rest in God and have faith that will come. And so let us end this morning with a prayer.
One thing I ask from the Lord, this only do I seek, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to gaze on the beauty of the Lord and to seek him in his temple. For in the day of trouble, he will keep me safe in his dwelling. He will hide me in the shelter of his secret tent and set me high upon a rock.
And there was another drive-by
The
shooting
fire we
today
reported at the
downtown.
old fire hall is still burning out.
Do you sometimes feel confused or lost in the complications and complexities of life? Do you feel drained, listless, or exhausted from the daily burdens and responsibilities? Why not seek our campus ministers on air every Tuesday from 2 to 3 in the afternoon? Listen to our counselors from the Loyola School's Campus Ministry Office as they ground our lives in our faith, in our school's spiritual tradition. Campus Ministers on Air. Be guided, be inspired, be blessed. Listen to our campus ministers on air.